And this was one of those developers that had these bonds that had state-backed guarantees. Why are we still seeing these defaults?
So KWG got a state bond that's guaranteed by the state in earlier this year, and the amount of that state-backed bond is actually smaller than the principal that it just defaulted on. So you can see the size of the help is really not enough for it to weather through all these liquidity challenges.
And this is just the latest really to affect market sentiment, right? High yield bonds haven't done well.
Yeah, exactly. So actually KWG had a default notice alongside its annual report a few weeks ago, and that really shocked investors. So it was a yuan-denominated borrowing, so the significance of that is apparently smaller than the current dollar bond default. But it really just shows, like, private developers continue to not be able to make those payments, especially offshore, and that's mainly because sales haven't really picked up. We have already talked about this from the economic data. I think people are just not buying from the private developers. They haven't been able to refinance anything onshore so far. So as you can see, this market hasn't really picked up, and I think people are still expecting more defaults.
Yeah, what else do we look out for this year in terms of defaults?
Yeah, and any deadlines coming up too.
Yeah.
So I think right now KWG is saying it's been constructive with its creditors. It's in restructuring talks. So that might be one of the good news that we're seeing.
Okay.
But now we're actually seeing in court here in Hong Kong, actually, creditors are getting more impatient in terms of getting their due payment. So they're trying to liquidate the developers. We have seen a couple of wind-up petitions. We have seen actually court-ordered liquidation on certain small-sized developers. So the stakes are pretty high here. And for developers like KWG, they may have assets in Hong Kong that creditors may try to, take over. So I think there's just a lot of tension right now between these defaulted developers and their creditors.